If you're a green card holder and you've decided or questioned whether you should travel because of what you've seen on social media about the Trump administration, this video was meant for you. Hello everyone, I'm attorney Lee Marvin and I've been practicing law for over 22 years and specializing in immigration law for about 11 years. My main office is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I help individuals and families in any state in the country and really any country on the planet. So stick around for a couple minutes because I want to explain to you the social media videos that I'm talking about and give you two real examples from individuals about their experience. So stick around for just a couple minutes. So there are many videos on social media from immigration professionals warning green card holders about international travel and horror stories about supposedly what happened to these individuals when they did travel, okay? So I've heard the rumors, I've wasted my time on some of these videos, and every time I'm shaking my head just wondering why these videos are being put out, okay? Conclude two things. The videos are intended to scare immigrants into the arms of these providers of immigration assistance, or two, the providers are anti-Trump and they want to criticize or make a political message in their videos, okay? Those are the two reasons I can see why these individuals would scare people who may travel internationally, okay? What these videos always seem to not include is context or an explanation of what these individuals supposedly are being rejected for and what the government's powers are and their obligations, okay? I have freely criticized President Trump and President Biden, okay, for various reasons, how their policies have impacted my clients and general immigration, okay? So I'm not political. I just want to provide good content to my subscribers and to my clients so that they have a better idea of how to navigate this crazy world and immigration in the United States. As I said, what's missing from these videos, usually it's the why behind the government's decision to reject certain entries and the governmental power and authority to do this. It's important for people to realize that immigration, CBP, Customs Border Patrol, has always had the power and has regularly exercised the power to reject people entering the United States, okay? Whether that's somebody on a tourist visa, student visa, legal permanent residence, or even U.S. citizens. The government has the right and the obligation to do so for the protection of everyone, okay? So it's not a Trump thing. It's not Trump targeting immigrants. That's just a basic governmental right and responsibility, okay? The key is that the rejection of an individual, if at all, is based on a legitimate government interest and obligation, despite the claims that you will see in these social media videos, okay? What do I mean by this? The government is obligated to enforce the law. Usually that's to the protection of anyone and everyone inside the United States, citizens, legal residents, or even casual visitors. They're all protected by the government. So it's the government's obligation to do so, okay? So rejecting those that they see or even suspect are dangerous or violating certain laws is what the government does. And believe me, we want them to do that, okay? It's possible that the government makes mistakes. It's possible that agents abuse their authority, but that is usually the exception and not the rule, okay? So please be careful when you're watching these videos that you're not watching a video that is slanted politically or designed to encourage people to come to the provider for legal services, okay? Look at the whole context of the situation, okay? So the real question in everyone's mind is whether all legal permanent residents should worry about international travel as suggested in social media. No, it's absurd, okay? Some people may have a reason to be concerned about international travel, but it depends on their specific history, okay? The vast majority of immigrants have nothing to worry about, okay? I've been advising my clients for years about international travel, and specifically under the Trump administration for the last several months, okay? Absolutely, some people have a right to be concerned, but not everyone. Let me give you two examples, and these are examples from my YouTube channel. Subscribers wrote the following, okay? I've had a green card for 43 years, and I had a problem 20 years ago, but my case was forgiven. It was a misdemeanor. And I have traveled during the Trump administration, February and March of 2025. That's this year, Trump administration. I had zero problems, okay? So that person had nothing to fear, even though they had a criminal history, okay? And then this other one, it wasn't the Trump administration. It was in August of 2023 and September 2024. Both times I got pulled out by the government, DHS, for roughly 30 minutes at a time. The one time I traveled alone, the other was with my family. The government wanted to verify some information the first time, and the second time I waited and was then cleared to go, okay? I asked the second time, this is the time that they were with their family, if this was going to happen to me, if this would have happened to me if I was a U.S. citizen. And the officer said, no. So the takeaway from there is, if you have the right to become a U.S. citizen, do it as soon as possible so you don't have to worry, okay? But both times, they were polite and professional. That's from real people, okay? So is it possible that other people have trouble? Yeah, of course. But that usually is the exception, not the rule, okay? So the second thing that I wanted to provide, second value that I want to provide to individuals is the advice that I give to my clients who actually do have criminal histories, okay? I usually give two pieces of advice. If you do have a criminal history, that you need to know what that criminal history is and how it may be impacted by your travel. So you need to know before you travel, because you might have serious problems, okay? Quick example. I had a client that wanted me to help them. They went down to Mexico for spring break, okay? They were here on a student visa, okay? And they tried to return, and the government inspected their cell phone and looked at their social media, looked at their pictures. What did they find? Child pornography, okay? That person did not return to the United States. And I advised them to likely never try to return to the United States again, because child pornography is not something that's looked at favorably. And that person should have known that before leaving the country. That's the takeaway from there. The second is for those with crimes that do not trigger automatic detention or rejection upon re-entry. Make sure to take your documents of your criminal history with you and expect that you will have additional screening by the government. It's just how it works, right? So if you have that information, you are going to you're going to go through the secondary inspection a heck of a lot quicker than you would if you're just like, I don't know. Have it with you. Hand it to the agent. I brought all my criminal history so you could inspect it just in case. Now I tell you, what do you think that's going to do to the agent who's inspecting you? They're going to go, oh my gosh, that person was super prepared. They brought it for me. I'm going to inspect it. And now my attitude is much better toward that person because they're cooperative and they provide me information that I could inspect. I mean, that's every agent's dream. So do it. Do yourself a favor and be prepared and cooperate with the government, because that's the best way to move forward. And if you have nothing to worry about, then provide the information to them and you go through a lot quicker. So again, thank you for your time. And as always, stay informed and stay safe.